Minister, I would love to hear your views on the decision by the National Transport Authority to award Go Ahead, a British-based global bus company, 10% of Dublin Bus routes and not to award it to Dublin Bus. Your views are probably limited because you usually say when anything to do with the NTA that it's their business, not yours. However, I would love to hear your views, not something that's pre-written for you by an official. What do you think of the awarding of this contract to Go Ahead?
Minister Ross has 2 minutes.
Sorry, I could I just correct you on something like that? This is the views that are scripted are not pre-written by that in the spirit in which it's meant. But this is the first reply I give you will be pre-written. Certainly is pre-written. The subsequent ones will not be, but they are written as a result of a discussion between me and them.
If I wasn't lenient, there'd be no time to reply.
To conduct the public procurement process relating to its decision to tender out of 10% of the PSO bus network. In this regard, the NTA has been undertaking a number of competitive procurement processes, and in August announced its decision that it had selected Go Ahead as the preferred bidder in the competition to operate 24 routes, 23 existing plus 1 new in the Dublin metropolitan area.
30 seconds over. The remainder of your reply will be included in the official.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Deputy Brid Smith.
Okay, well, a bit more substantial reply than I thought. However, the main point here is that the level of investment put into this service is not going to make the service more competitive. What makes the service more competitive is actually from the point of view of Go Ahead, not from the point of view of you, Minister, this state or the passengers that use the buses. Go Ahead will make it more competitive because it will drive down the labour costs, the wages, the conditions of its workers. Now, I asked several questions about this contract to the NTA. There's a whole string of them here, and in every single one of them I get back, not every single one, probably 2 I didn't get this back out of 11. I get back, can't tell you, commercially sensitive. What is the cost element, commercially sensitive? What are the labour costs, commercially sensitive? What are the differences in cost between the two, commercially sensitive? What are the logistical difficulties, commercially sensitive? Can you give me a detailed analysis of how the agency defined whether Go Ahead was better than Dublin Bus, commercially sensitive? It's very, very difficult to get an answer as a parliamentarian on behalf of the public and those who work for Dublin Bus what is actually going on here. But I would say to you, Minister, that I contain, and that many people do, that what is really happening here is an attempt to privatise the bus service, to drive down wages, conditions and to drive a wedge into a very well unionised workplace. There's no evidence that privatisation drives down costs or efficiency. Look at the bin service, look at the cost of electricity, how it has soared.
Minister Ross, and the same goes for you.
Okay. The international experience, I think I'm right in saying, indicates that introducing competitive tension into our PSO bus market, that's a mixture of direct award and then competitively tendered contracts, should allow us to capture. I hope we can agree that as a reasonable principle, at least, the introduction of the 10% bus market opening provides such an opportunity. I do have to repeat this because it's repeated in this House so often. There is absolutely no kind of sinister underhand privatisation agenda here. Indicates that introducing competitive tension into our PSO bus market, that's a mixture of direct award and then competitively tendered contracts, should allow us to capture potential as apart from the MTA. Must look at how we spend taxpayers' money and get value for money. I hope we can agree that as a reasonable principle, at least, the introduction of the 10% bus market opening provides such an opportunity. I do have to repeat this because it's repeated in this House so often. There is absolutely no kind of sinister underhand privatisation agenda here. There is none whatsoever. What is happening here is
well, I'm going to drive a coach through everything you've said, not to put too fine a pun on it, because Dublin Bus tender actually came in at a lower price than the Go Ahead tender. On top of that, what competition can Go Ahead engage in? Can they reduce the cost of fuel? Can they reduce the cost of hiring or servicing or maintaining a fleet? No, they can't. The only costs they can reduce are labour costs and conditions within the company. And just to say to you, Minister, in case NTA didn't tell you, the tender from Dublin Bus indicated that they reached 98% of the targets on all routes, and NTA's determination level is 90%, so they went way above that. They reached 98% above the NTA's own targets. There is no reason whatsoever to give this contract out to another company other than Dublin Bus, other than there is an agenda of privatisation. And you're right, there is no underhanded attempt. It's blatant, it's out there, and you're pursuing it, and the NTA are driving you to pursue it. And somebody is answering your questions wrongly, because you don't even have the facts right. Dublin Bus came in cheaper and can provide a better service and have done for years.
Minister, 1 minute, please.
Yeah, okay.